Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
The Pacers did their best Oklahoma City Thunder impression and gutted out a win to go up 2-1 in the NBA Finals. Now the Thunder head into Game 4 in desperate need of a win, and Kevin Durant is going shopping.
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
The Indiana Pacers are now 2 wins away from the franchise's first NBA championship, a 116-107 win. The Pacers in clutch time this postseason, basically unbeatable. They win the fourth quarter in this one. Get this, 32-18. Tony East witnessed it live in person at the arena. Our Locked On Pacers host, he joins us now. And Tony, they just keep doing it. And every time I ask you how, and you have seemingly a new answer. Today was Benedict Mathurin. I'm sort of at a loss here with this team.
Well, it's funny you're at a loss because this is what they are, right? Like this is what they're.
You keep trying to tell us. This is just who they are.
Well, sort of. I can't say I expected they'd be this far still doing this, but like this is what their hope to be is as a team is they have depth and guys who any given night, any one of them can be put in a position to succeed at a high level. And sometimes that means a game one where there's a bunch of guys between, 13 and 19 points. And sometimes it means tonight where Benedict Mathurin is unbelievable, like record-setting Pacers franchise numbers off the bench in like 23 minutes and looks unstoppable with these pull-up jumpers. And TJ McConnell's like, he stole it again on the inbounds pass, so they know he's on the court. And like Haliburton and Siakam were both really good, but like the starters in general were just kind of, they're fine. But the bench was exceptional. And like that's what the Pacers ethos is the balance in any given night. Any guy can do that to you.
The thing that struck me is the Pacers did everything we expect the Oklahoma City Thunder to do in a given game. They pressured 94 feet. They made every hustle play. They defended their butts off. And this is a team that has been below average in the postseason in defensive rating. They've been a good defensive team overall over the course of the season, but like not at this level. And it's just been this whole postseason, Tony, whatever they've needed to be in a given game, they've seemingly found a way to get it. And that malleability, where does that come from?
Yeah, just like a morph of their defensive identity. And it's not even like they really changed a ton. It's just, for forever, at least to me and a lot of people locally, it felt like, that Andrew Nembhard's a great defender. Aaron Nesmith's a great defender. Miles Turner's a great defender. I mean, great's a stretch for these guys, but like they're all really good defenders. Pascal Siakam's a good defender. Ben Mathurin's a good defender. TJ McConnell for his size is a good defender. I keep saying all this to say that the question here was always, why isn't this team better on defense? Right? They have all this talent and it doesn't amount to anything on the defensive end. And so eventually this year, finally, when they stunk to start the season, I think finally it clicked for all the whole team. Like, hey, we got to do this. Like we have to buy in and be great on defense if we're really going to achieve the heights we want. And so now that the Pacers aren't like game wrecking everybody on offense, they're still an amazing offensive team to be clear, but not at the heights they were at last year. They need that defense to step up, and they figured that out throughout the season. And now they have lots of guys capable of being really important. And tonight, like Shea was the most muted he's been in the series. He was still very good, but like Andrew Nembhard can handle that. Miles Turner in a crappy game shuts down Chet Holmgren late, and that's a huge play in the game. Pascal Siakam stays down on SGA late. They just have guys who can do that kind of thing and hold a team to an 18-point quarter. When they're playing frenetic, like outside of J-Dub hitting some shots, and I'm like, he should have floated across the lane, and he played great. I'm not trying to take those shots away. I think the Pacers were really happy with their defense tonight, and it came right with their bench. They were great.
We've talked a lot over the course of this season because the Thunder won 68 games about the way that team is built and the run that they're set up to go on. But you watch the Pacers and you go, they built it the same way. They never bottomed out. And in fact, that's one of the key differences with the Thunder is they just got Rick Carlisle a bunch of toys to play with. And he seems to be maximizing those guys in ways that I don't know, few other coaches I would think would be able to do.
Yeah, I don't know how much it was just like ahead of the curve versus their intentional strategy happened to be excellent, which similar with the Thunder, like they both had a plan of here's the identity we want. Here's how much depth we want to do it with. Let's go do it. And everybody said for forever, you need your top whatever to be great in the playoffs. And depth's like, you have 3 or 4 guys maybe off the bench. Basically, like, screw that. We're playing 10 every game. and we're going to play fast the whole time, which is only possible if we rest these guys a certain amount. And they believe, like, if you get below 90% of your peak level because of conditioning or whatever, their percentage is great. Someone else good will come on the floor for you. The Thunder are the same way. And I found that to be an interesting battle in this series, And so both of these teams said, yep, we want to play fast. That's only possible if we have lots of depth, or everybody's going to get hurt by the end of the year. We want to use that depth to our advantage. We want to have one side of the ball be the central identity part of how we play. It's the opposite sides for these teams, which is fun. And so every night you get like, oh, look, Aaron Wiggins. Oh, look, Benedict Mathurin. Like, that's just what makes the Thunder and Pacers possible and special. And tonight it was the Pacers who were the team that rode that identity to the win.
You can stay up to date all year on the surprise Indiana Pacers by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Pacers on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Your Locked On Sports Today. Coming up, the Thunder are in some serious trouble. Before we get to that, everyone is saying no to the Knicks. The NBA playoffs are winding down, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. FanDuel makes betting easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, there are so many ways to bet your favorite props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine a live prop bet into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. You can place that first $5 bet on who you think will win the Super Bowl. How about that? The Buffalo Bills with the shortest odds, plus 700. But if you're looking for a better payoff, down the road, can I interest you in the Green Bay Packers at 22-1? Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. The Knicks coaching search is starting to feel a little bit like speed dating, and nobody is saying yes. Already turned down by Jay Wright, Ime Udoka, Chris Finch, and Quinn Snyder, New York's latest request to speak with Mavs head coach Jason Kidd was, quote, firmly rejected. At this point, there's nothing left to do but keep swiping right to see if anyone will match. The Dodgers closed out strong against the Padres.
Man, that series had something for everybody. Padre fans got their World Series win on Tuesday night. Dodgers get the series win on Wednesday afternoon. What's up? This is Jeff Steiner from Locked On Dodgers. Dodgers beat the Padres 5-2. Huge 3-run homer from Teoscar Hernandez is the big blow. Great to see Teoscar get a big hit when they needed it. Hopefully that can help him break out of the long slump he's been in. Michael Conforto had a home run. Obviously, anything they can get from him is a bonus at this point. And Will Smith had a huge insurance RBI in the top of the ninth inning. The bullpen really got the job done here. Ben Kasparius was the spot starter, the opener, whatever you want to call it. He went 4 innings and just gave up 1 run. Did a really good job, but multiple relievers. Everybody except Michael Kopech did a great job out of the bullpen. Kopech walked the bases loaded. Anthony Bonda came in and saved his bacon. And Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia close it out. Great win for the Dodgers. Finish off the road trip. Head home with a series win against the Padres. Head home to face the Giants. Be sure to check out Locked On Dodgers every weekday morning for more on this game and every Dodger game.
And the Giants had their 6-game winning streak put in danger by none other than the Rockies.
What's up, everyone? Eric Triple E Engel here with the Locked On Giants postcast. And again, the Giants get it done with more late inning devil magic. Today they win 10-7. They entered that 8th inning trailing by 3 runs. Scored 4 in the 8th, 3 more in the 9th, and the Giants, I mean, I'm shocked that this offense is producing the way it is right now. I know it's Coors Field, but I don't think that we could have rightfully expected a double-digit run performance from this team the way it's been going lately. And thankfully for the Giants, they were able to get all 10 of those runs because the Rockies scored 7 of their own. Not the cleanest defensive game for the Giants, but hey, they made the plays when they needed to. Casey Schmidt played a hell of a game today. Great third base, huge at-bats. Plenty of Giants had huge at-bats, though, today. Perhaps none bigger than Mike Yastrzemski's double in that 8th inning with the bases loaded. Cleared them all. A 3 RBI swing for Mike Yastrzemski in another huge situation. I mean, I cannot believe that Mike Yastrzemski has been the catalyst of these last 3 wins for the Giants, but that's just how it goes. Willy Adames also had a great day. We'll break it all down on the Locked On Giants postcast right now.
It's now the 68-win team with their back at least nearing the wall after falling in Game 3. Rylan Stiles, our Locked On Thunder host, joins us now from the arena in Indianapolis. Rylan, Shea got his, but shot 9 of 20, only had 24 points in this one. And the Thunder they're just the latest team that cannot kill the Pacers in a clutch game. The Pacers now 8-1 in clutch games in the postseason. What is the number one reason why that happened?
I think that when you look at this Thunder team, they just continuously blew opportunities to fight all the way back in that third quarter after mercifully only being down 4 at halftime, after how dreadful they were in the second quarter. To be down 4 at halftime, erase that deficit, and grow yourself a lead in that third quarter, and then let go of the rope even after J-Dub's clutch 3 at the end of the third was disheartening for Oklahoma City. I think that their back is fully against the wall because of what you look at playing on the road, where this team, they had a good three-point shooting night by their standards. They had the Lou Dort, 4-triple game, but they could not capitalize on it. And a large reason why was their offense stalling out. I mean, they had one make in the last 5 minutes of this game in the NBA Finals. They also lost the hustle plays. They also played worse defense than Indiana did.
Yeah.
Indiana did everything that OKC typically does, and Indiana got the win because of it. And the Thunder just struggled, but mainly offensively. They just could not buy a bucket. They didn't have good shot quality. They didn't have good processing. They just were out of sorts offensively.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the offensive struggles. That is not that new for Oklahoma City. We expect Shai to get to where he wants to get to on the floor, but we saw against Denver when the offense can bog down a little bit. This team was made by their defense, a historically great defense. They lost the turnover battle in this one. You mentioned the hustle plays. There were a couple late offensive rebounds the Pacers were able to get. The putback from Obi Toppin in the fourth quarter. They just didn't play to their identity. Did we get any sense of why in the postgame?
No sense of why. You know how the post-game situation goes, especially, for this team. They're just going to say, well, we had to be better, got to be back to 0-0, got to learn from it, etc. Got to watch the film. They haven't got to watch the film yet. They have to see how this all breaks down. So I think that when you look at this game, it was an immature loss, you could say, because why weren't you making the hustle plays? Why weren't you playing at your defensive level? Why weren't you?
Yes, NBA Finals.
Yeah, like what was the reason why? What was the reason why you were a step slow comparatively to Indiana? And I think that is part of their identity. They've built this great identity of being a responsive team, but at some point, you have to build an identity of being a tone-setting team. Hats off to them for winning 68 games. Hats off to them for battling back in that Denver series. But they have to get to a point where they don't need that desperation. They don't need that built-in sense of urgency. They can manufacture it themselves, and they cannot right now manufacture senses of urgency. But when they do get to play this way with their backs against the wall, they play really well. So I expect them to win Game 4 and head back to OKC 2-2. It's just that they have to get behind the 8 ball a little bit before they start playing, and then by that point, sometimes it's too late.
How do they get some of the secondary scorers going a little bit more? I mean, this is a team that is still going to rise and fall based on the MVP of the league. Jalen Williams put in 26, but it took him 18 field goals to get there. Chet Holmgren shot 6 of 15 in this game, had some really dispiriting plays in the fourth quarter against Miles Turner. He got his shot blocked a couple different times. How do they get the other guys more involved here?
Yeah, I think that this was a lot about Indiana's defense, because they did everything right in the sense of making Shai play in a crowd and forcing him to hit tough shots, which he hit a few tough shots tonight, but forcing him to get away from the basketball. I mean, he had 3 shots in the fourth quarter in a tight game in the NBA Finals. That's how good they were at pressuring him. And they understood, if somebody else beats the Indiana Pacers, so be it. Then at that point, you tip your cap to them. But the thing is, it's easy to say that, and I think that sometimes, excuse me, sometimes when we say that, we're thinking that the other team is going to completely concede the others. Indiana flew around today. I mean, they flew around, and Lou Dort, who was one of the other guys that caught fire, you go back and watch those threes. They should not have gone in the sense of shot quality, in the sense of Indiana contesting them. You look at Chet, he was really active, really aggressive in the first quarter. They didn't let that happen for 48 minutes. J-Dub was awesome in the third quarter. They didn't let that happen for 48 minutes. So they were still, on top of being really good against Shai, disciplined against everybody else. And at that point, this team does not have enough advantage creators on the ball. They have a lot of play finishers, but when you're not in a position to finish a play, then they kind of throw their hands up and have to reset. And at times you run into these shot clock violations on top of, they had 3 shot clock violations on top of the 3, giveaways on the inbound. That's just stuff that you are not going to be able to overcome in an NBA Finals game.
Stay up to date all year on the Oklahoma City Thunder by subscribing to Locked On Sports today and Locked On Thunder on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Coming up, Kevin Durant is taking his talents to a new NBA team, but which one? Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns are looking to part ways. Locked On Rockets host Jackson Gatlin breaks down the latest trade options and why the Rockets have some things to figure out before they can really get in the picture.
Some reporting from Shams Charania of ESPN. The Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant's business partner, boardroom CEO Rich Kleiman, have met multiple times over the past week and are sifting through trade scenarios. Sources told ESPN the two sides are expected to work together on potential destinations. Teams that have expressed interest in Durant, sources said, mainly feature the Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, and the New York Knicks. Several wildcard suitors have made inquiries on Durant in the past 7 to 10 days as well, sources said. So this is the latest in the KD trade saga. And look, I know there's a subsection of Rockets fans that are sick about hearing about KD, but as long as KD is news, we got to talk about it on the show. So these 5 teams have remained the consistent 5 teams at the top of the KD sweepstakes. Now, I will say that of these 5 teams, I think it's very clear that the Rockets and Spurs have the best possible offers to make for Kevin Durant, although the Knicks have a sneaky good option to potentially pursue KD, and we'll talk about that more in just a second. But I think it's always worth noting, right, this time of year, it's very important to pay attention to where these leaks are coming from, where these sources are being provided. And when you look at the language and the terminology on this one, Kevin Durant's business partner, boardroom CEO Rich Kleiman, like, that language is very clearly coming out of Kevin Durant's camp. That's coming out of his circle. That's coming straight from the horse's mouth, right? So this isn't a team leaking this. Isn't the Suns leaking this? This is Kevin Durant basically saying, these are the teams that I would like to go to. These are the teams that I am most interested in joining in order to, still compete at the highest of levels, yada, 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 whatever.
It's just amazing how fast all these things change. It seems like just yesterday we got the report, Giannis might leave. And now the reporting is, actually, it seems like Giannis is going to stay. There's been no trade request, and the Milwaukee Bucks are not looking to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. And so the NBA world looks to Kevin Durant. But at this point in his career, Kevin Durant does not move the needle the way Giannis would. So that means teams are going to get desperate. Teams that were already desperate for a splash are now even more desperate because the incredible player in his prime that seemed like he was available may not be available anymore. So the incredible player in his prime, who is no longer in his prime, is available. What does the bidding war for Kevin Durant look like? I'm fascinated to see who gets desperate. And are there actually more teams interested in Kevin Durant because the price is going to be lower and he's coming in to be a mercenary, not the new face of your franchise? How much, though, does he change your life as a team? How much does he change the ultimate outcome of the Knicks, of the Wolves? Well, if this finals is any indication, he could swing a title because the NBA seems like it is as wide open as it has ever been. And finally, Lee Corso is going full circle. After nearly 3 decades of headgear picks, he'll make his final call where it all began, Columbus, Ohio. When Ohio State hosts Texas to open the college football season, Corso, who turns 90 in August, will don the mascot headgear one last time on college game day. After 430 picks, 69 different mascots, and plenty of Brutus the Buckeye, it's only fitting the farewell happens in Columbus. If you're catching this episode after hearing your favorite Locked On show, make sure to subscribe to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're a new subscriber to Locked On Sports Today, we're here for you with the biggest stories in sports every day. Coming up, are the Boston Celtics going to blow it up this offseason? So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
For more episodes of Locked On Sports Today, go to our video on demand. Click on Sports at the top of your screen. There, you'll find past episodes of Locked On Sports Today, plus other Locked On shows on demand.